It is National Fentanyl Awareness Day, and according to the Virginia Department of Health, nearly 100 Virginia teens and young adults die annually from fentanyl overdoses. Joining me today is Virginia's First Lady Suzanne Youngkin. She's the leading voice behind the Commonwealth's It Only Takes One initiative. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Michelle, for focusing on this most important issue.
Yeah, and speaking of, I want to start with some important data that was shared with us from the Virginia Foundation for Healthy Youth. It reports that almost 70% of teens have seen pills and powders being used in social settings. I was surprised by that number because it basically says if you don't think your kid knows about this, maybe they have friends who are exposed to it. You've been fighting for this cause for quite some time now to raise awareness and save families, essentially. What has surprised you about this?
Yes, that's a very sobering statistic, is it not? And we know that youth are struggling. And too often when youth are struggling, they turn to substances to cope. But today there's a deadly substance on the market. It's an illicit opioid, fentanyl, which is being pressed into pills that masquerade just like commonplace prescriptive drugs, pills that look exactly like Xanax, Percocet, Adderall. We lost 100 youth to fentanyl overdose in the Commonwealth just last year, and the year prior it was 200. And in a really sinister twist, this drug is very easy to make, it's very easy to sell, and it's killing our kids.
And you hit the nail on the head. I mean, one thing that makes it so dangerous is it's often disguised to look like something else. So a lot of times these teenagers, these kids don't even know that they're taking something that is potentially deadly. How early should parents begin to have conversations about fentanyl specifically?
I think every conversation matters. We are seeing that play out here in Virginia. Our numbers have gone down. As a matter of fact, the CDC reports that Virginia is leading the country in terms of the reduction of overdose deaths. We had 40% fewer fentanyl overdose deaths just last year. So the numbers are working in our favor, but there's so much more work to do, and these conversations are tricky. They're very tricky, but you don't have to be an expert, and you can speak to children at any age or any stage of development. I've talked to children as young as first graders about not picking up and tasting something that they find on the ground. And for tips on how to talk to your teens, you can visit itonlytakesone.virginia.gov, because we know it's difficult, but we also know it's critically important to save lives.
And I know your days in office are winding down. What accomplishments are you the most proud of, and what have you learned about yourself while in this role?
I have just learned that sometimes when you're passionate about things, you can make a difference. We lost a young friend to fentanyl poisoning in the fall of 2020, and at that time I knew very little about this most dangerous drug. But I was determined to try to strip away the shame and strip away the taboo nature of talking about it, and that's precisely what we've done. And we've mobilized law enforcement and educators and health practitioners and persons in recovery, and we have all come together to make sure that we're saving lives. And I think ultimately, if we're protecting the people that we know and love, we're doing good works, and I'm very, very proud of the work we're doing here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. But I will not stop, because as long as there are 3 Virginians a day dying to fentanyl poisoning, we've got to keep the pedal to the metal, talking about it, and working towards recovery and working towards the fentanyl deaths in Virginia being 0.
Is this a cause you'll continue to commit to as you exit office?
I certainly hope so. I mean, if we can see fentanyl deaths eradicated, the cause will go away, which would be beautiful. But there's absolutely no reason that I will not continue to partner with now my friends, my colleagues, who have become really dear to me in this cause. There are so many families across the Commonwealth who are grieving today because of the loss of their loved ones. But they're also encouraged today, because even though we say it only takes one mistake to take a life, It only takes one serious conversation or one caring adult to change a life, to save a life. And we're going to continue taking those messages to people and continuing to help people who are suffering.
Such an important message. Thank you so much for joining us. It only takes one.virginia.gov. More resources are available there for you. Thank you, Virginia
Yes.
First Lady Suzanne Youngkin.
Thank you so much.